Oh, hello there. Okay, look, today we're gonna jump right into it. As you can see, I'm in an entirely new space. As of last week, it is official. Me and the entire crew that was living in the Bonsai Pipeline beachfront house had to move out. Now I reside in a basement of Justin's parents in Honolulu. But I promise that's not nearly as depressing as it sounds. It's actually great. Look at new space, new area to work. The only downside is I don't live beachfront at Pipeline, but that was just lucky I got to live there in the first place. But yeah, as of last week, me, Justin, Mick, Tim, Alex, the new editor, we all had to move out and we're in scramble mode, and we couldn't actually find a place, me and Justin that is, so we had to move into his parents' basement, which we're now calling home for the time being. Not bad at all, and a massive thank you to the Graham family for hosting me. Secondly, we haven't done this in a long time, and that is unboxing boxes with Jackson Lebsack. Part of the reason we haven't done unboxing boxes with Jackson Lebsack in a long time is because I haven't had any boxes to unbox. But now I have some boxes to unbox, so we're gonna unbox the boxes. And I figured that there's no better time to unbox these boxes than in the brand new house that I call home, which is Justin's parents' basement in Honolulu. First up is this box. I have no idea what's in it or who it's from, but that's the best part about unboxing boxes with Jackson Lebsack. And look, now that I live with Justin, I can use his huge knife whenever I want. Oh, I know what these are. So by now you guys are probably familiar with that company that I've been working with a bit, Shimoda Designs, the backpack company. The guy's been flowing me gear like crazy and I love the stuff, so I've been in touch with him, telling him how good his stuff is, and we have this awesome mutual connection now where we're just, you know, I'm helping him out with exposure and he's helping me out with backpacks, so thank you for supporting the dream, Shimoda Designs. I love your stuff, and thank you for the brand new small core units. I'll be sure to put these to good use. I've been expecting this. All right, so this is a package from Insta360, that new company that's coming up the game, and they kind of make GoPro similar cameras. Been hearing a lot of really good things about them, and Tina actually hooked me up with one of their representatives who wanted to reach out and work with me. I was actually in their most recent spring campaign video, and they also have sent me their newest camera. Very excited to test it out. Let's unbox it and see what we're working with. Looks like we got a few things here. Thank you, Insta360. A reusable Insta360 mask. An Insta360 baseball cap. For those of you that don't know, I collect hats, so I really appreciate this. Thank you, Insta360. Whoa! Unbelievable! I don't know how well you can see this, but this is the all-new Insta360 Go 2, and it's about the size of my freaking pinky finger. That big. I have never used an Insta360 in my life. I've always used a GoPro, but there's a new player in the game, clearly, and Insta360 has came up and gotten a lot of positive and good feedback within the last couple of years, and especially on this new camera. I've seen big players in the YouTube game review it, and they've given it good reviews, so I'm excited to test it out for myself. Next up is a box that I've been waiting to open for a long, long time, my friends. Oh my. Jackson, we are so psyched to have you on the Driftline team. Put these trunks through hell and get out there. Be bold, go big, and rip it hard with no rash. Enjoy the gear and looking forward to seeing what you create. Wes and Greg from Driftline. This is huge. So as you've probably seen in recent vlogs, I have been, well, not super recent because I did that trip to Hood River where I was only skiing. Anyway, in a lot of my vlogs, I've been wearing these new board shorts called Driftlines, and they have a 0.5 millimeter wetsuit liner inside that has been saving me from the godforsaken chafe. Ever since I tested them out, ever since Driftline first sent me 2 pairs, I freaked and I instantly got in touch with the guys and said, yo, I want to work with you. Wes and Greg, the owners of the company, were cool enough to take me on board, hear me out, hear my ideas, and hear my stoke for the brand. Genuinely, you guys, these board shorts are game-changing, and I really think they've got a bright, bright future ahead of them. And I wanted to be a part of the team and support their journey because they're just freaking awesome, I swear. All right, I'm skitzing so hard, I really want to just dig through this and see what all we got here. It looks like they sent me the whole collection, maybe some extras for my boys. We got hats, we got die-cut stickers, shirts, more stickers, and all the board shorts you could ever freaking dream of. Driftline, Wes, Greg, thank you guys so much. You don't know how excited I am to be a part of this. And to share it with you guys, my audience. My stoke for this brand is real. If you're interested in getting a pair of these things, check them out in the description below. I highly recommend it. My favorite board shorts I've ever used, and I'm really stoked to have a supporter of the channel and a company that I really have faith in. Use code JL20 at checkout to get 20% off your board shorts, and let me know your thoughts on them. I genuinely believe that you're gonna freaking love these things. Okay, that concludes Unboxing Boxes with Jackson Lebsack. Thank you very much for watching my original series. As I mentioned earlier, the focus of this video is to go test out that all-new camera from Insta360, the Go 2. I have high hopes for this thing, and I've heard very good feedback, and I want to test it in all my facets that I love to do in the world of action sports, whether it's surfing or whether it's kiting. We'll see. But I gotta go check the forecast, see if the wind's on or if the surf's on. We're gonna go test that Insta360, and then we're gonna come back to the table and talk about it. I can't wait to see how this little guy holds up. All right, scratch that, reverse that. We're not going surfing, we're not going kiting. We're doing something entirely different today. What are we doing?
We're gonna go hang from ropes in the jungle. These guys have never done it before, and I'm excited to show them.
Never done this, but I figured there's no better way to test a set of new cameras with the all-new Insta360 than to do something entirely different. We're going waterfall rappelling. Let's get it! And we made it! We are in the middle of the jungle in the back of the mountain valley. I have no idea where we are. I've never been here before. The girls, I'm certain, know where we are, and Justin, I'm certain, knows where we are, but I'm the dumb foreigner that knows nothing. Girls, are you excited for the mission?
Hell yeah.
Me-ha? Head down, Okay, I'm gonna show you guys the arsenal on what I'm filming this whole mission on today, because we have some additions to just the Insta360 Go 2. Check it out. In addition to the Insta360 Go 2, they also sent me the Insta360 One X2 and the Insta360 One R. At least I think that's what it's called. This is the Insta360 One X2. It's their 360 camera, and I've heard great things. We'll be putting this to the test today as well. And this is the Insta360 One R. I think it's, yeah, the One R. The One R is like their GoPro similar model. It's the same shape, same form factor, and it fits to all the same mounts. We'll be putting this to the test today. It's 2, but the Insta360 Go 2, there's a lot of 2. The Insta360 Go 2 is the focus of the video. That's the tiny little, this one. The Insta360 Go 2 is the focus of the video. It's the tiny one that I unboxed that comes in the AirPods. I didn't unbox these cameras because they came at a later date, but I figured I'd make a whole vlog on Insta360 and we'll test them all out, but this camera is the focus, and I'll be putting a little title thing in the bottom right corner when I use this camera so we can see what the footage turns out like. Excited to see how Insta360 holds up on this waterfall excursion. Let's get it. All right, here we are, testing out the Insta360 Go 2. Holding the thing, this is a test on the audio, see how it sounds. Just pulled it out of my pocket. Again, the camera's incredibly small, so if this works well, pretty freaking sweet little cam to have in the arsenal. Walking with it, crew's ahead of me up there. We'll be at the waterfall soon. Yeah, changed, obviously. And I got my drift lines on. They're good for everything, folks. We have just about made it to the base of the waterfall. We are about to get the first glimpse. Quite gassed, as you can see. Been walking on this dirt road for like 20 minutes. Check it out though. When we come around this corner, you're gonna see what we're about to scale. It's gonna be a pretty fun adventure, I think. Check it out. Woo! Probably 100-something feet tall right there in the back of the jungle. deep in the jungle now, along a fence, a very large fence, working our way to the waterfall base. Whoa, we'll get there soon. You see, if I just would have known that that statement right there could not have been further from the truth, I probably would have turned around right that second. You see, this mission that I'm about to walk you through ended up being one of the gnarliest, most intense things that I've ever done in my life. And that's not an exaggeration. I actually had a couple moments where I was pretty convinced we were gonna have to spend the night in the woods. I had one moment where I actually thought my life was at risk, and I overall just was in survival mode for a lot of what you're about to witness. It was super fun, but super miserable at the same time, and it tested my mental endurance. Before we jump into this next scene, what's not pictured is 2 hours about of trekking straight up the mountain looking for a trail that was once there but isn't anymore due to new maintenance. You see, we had to walk straight up the jungle mountain, and our goal was to get equivalent height with the waterfall that you just saw earlier. It's about, I would say, 100 and something feet high in the air on a cliff band. So we had to hike up the cliff band, just bushwhacking, figuring out how to get equal with this waterfall so that we can get to the top of it and then enter the 12-tiered domain that we heard of, and our goal was to at least rappel a few of them. So after, I would say, an hour and a half of trekking straight uphill through jungle bush, we finally reached what I call the Sky Bridge of Doom, and it was this landslide net that they had built to catch landslides, I'm guessing, or falling items like rocks, whatever you name it. A massive net suspended about 100 and something feet in the air, equivalent height with the waterfall, and the only way to get to the top of the waterfall is to walk across the Sky Bridge of Doom. All right, we're live, rolling on the 1R2. Wait, yeah, the 1R, not the 1R2, just the 1R. Wow, this is real gnarly. Look it. We're just floating over open air on a fence right now. It's like 300 feet straight to the bottom if this thing was to give way. Good news is it's a massive sturdy fence made to catch falling boulders and landslide stuff, I think. Yeah. Can you get my harness out of my back? Thank you.
Give her a walk.
The rain's coming in to add intensity. We're getting absolutely pissed on the Sky Bridge of Doom. Alright, so at this point in the story, it is absolutely pouring like I've never seen it pour before. It's just pelting you with rain. Mia has a one-piece bathing suit. Alima's in a cotton t-shirt. I'm in a rash guard and board shorts. Hell, all I thought we were doing was going on a quick jaunt to go rappel some waterfalls. I've never been waterfall rappelling anymore, or like ever, and I had no idea what that entailed. Justin was not very detailed with what was going on when he informed us he was taking us waterfall rappelling. It just sounded like a fun thing to do. We, would park the car, have a casual little waterfall rappel, and then go back, home, like normal people. But no, that's not what happened at all. So the most intense rain of all time continues to pour and pour, and all that's running through my head is that a landslide might happen, considering we're standing on a landslide net. So I asked Justin, you think this rain's anything to worry about? And he says, nope. I shrug it off and say, okay, I trust my tour guide, and we rig up the leashes, the girls walk across, everybody gets across, I'm the last one to go, and I have to run the rope and get it back to Justin as I am the last one to cross so we don't leave any gear behind. So check it out in this next scene. Hey! Okay! Woo! This is really gnarly! This is really gnarly! Oh my god! Woo!
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, you! Did we make it?
We're here.
Oh, we've arrived! Being poured on and walking the Sky Bridge of Doom! We're now at the top of the waterfall. Time to scale what we really came for. This was just the beginning.
This is the beginning, dude. There's 10 of these apparently.
Wow. Top of a mega fall, and look at this one. Whoa! Mental! What?
Oh,
Yeah, you.
alright, dude. You see those white roots?
Yeah.
It's like a ladder. Gotta climb up.
Are we attached to anything?
Huh?
Or are we free soloing?
Free solo.
Okay. So, at this point, I actually calmed down a bit, and I actually had quite a bit of happiness when I got across the Sky Bridge of Doom, and the light started to shine in, the rain mellowed out a bit, and we reached the top tier of the waterfall. It felt like we had accomplished part of our mission, which in a sense, we totally did. But little did I know, this was the very beginning of our mission, and I mean the very beginning. It only just begun. We only just reached what we were trying to... This was like the start of the hike, essentially. So as you just heard, Justin says, see those white roots right there? That's our ladder. I say, okay, are we attached to anything? He says, no, free solo. Now, I would consider this a rock climb, straight up a vertical cliff wall, and you're hanging on by tree roots. It was super easy, but if you were to slip and fall, you were guaranteed dead. So it's like a beginner rock climbing route, but the consequences were death. Check out this 360 clip I got once I reached the top of it, just so you can see how steep down it was. But even still, the camera just doesn't do it any justice. Check it out. You see, that's literally straight down for a long, long ways. And at this point, we had just hit another cliff wall that Justin knew how to scale, so we were waiting for him to go up and then toss us a rope down, which we were then gonna climb up and continue onward with our straight uphill hike. But before we get to that, I'll give you some POV action of what it was like climbing these routes. I wish you could get just a better idea what it was, but it's one of those things that you have to be there for. It was literally a 90-degree pitch wall that we are climbing holding roots, and if we were to slip and fall, it would be a very bad situation. There was even a part where it was like over 90 degrees and you had to go over and how do you say that? Around an overhang? Around an overhang. Scary stuff. Check it out. This is really not mellow at all.
I'm not dry.
Yeah, this is pretty gnarly.
Where's Justin?
This is so gnarly, dude. Wow. Straight down. Don't fall. Oh my god. This is fucked up, dude. I'm really scared, actually. That part is really fucking gnarly.
Straight up, move up. You can, there's a few straight up from there. There you go. The next one's like a full-on puzzle.
Justy's tossing me down a rope so I can climb up this steep part. Here we go.
Yep.
Wow.
How's the view?
Gnarly! So gnarly.
Alright, I'm gonna unhook you. And I'll see you guys up here. Let's have a snack break.
Yeah, big time. I need my gummy bears. Okay, so as you can see, pretty vertical and a lot of climbing. I cut out so much of that. It took a long time and I had to be very precise and just really slow with my movements, making sure that I was doing it as safe as I possibly could. I'm sure through a lot of that scene, you could actually hear the genuine fear in my voice. I was really pretty scared and I was pretty shocked that we were taking the gals on this, but they handled it like absolute champions. Good job, girls. So now our next continuation of this mission is to just keep hiking higher. Justin had been to this point where we had just stopped and overlooked this view, and at that point, you can usually drop down a trail that takes you to the top tier of waterfall number 2, which is what Justin has rappelled before. But he heard that there's 12 waterfalls, and he wanted to go at least a little higher today to try a new zone and rappel into maybe waterfall 4, 3, and then hit 2. So Justin says, continue upward, take a snack break, and I'll go scope out where our next spot is. We probably first got on the trail at 1 p.m. By now, I believe it's 3 o'clock, and I look at Justin and I say, we should probably turn around by 4. And he's like, eh, and he just shrugs it off. I'm like, okay. So we get to the top of the hill that he wanted us to get to, and he ties up a rope and just starts rappelling down the cliff band, because we're way high up on this cliff band, and the waterfall gorge is now a ways below us, and our goal is to get into the waterfall gorge to then rappel the waterfall tiers. So Justin's like, wait here, I'm gonna go rappel down this, and I'm gonna go scope the scene and make sure we're good to go. So he disappears for like an hour. Me, Alima, and Mia are huddled like penguins on top of this mountain while Justin's down in the gully searching for this waterfall. We're freezing. She's in a one-piece swimsuit, Mia is. Alima's in her cotton t-shirt. I'm in my rash guard, my board shorts. If we would have been more prepared for this, everything would have been so much mellower. But Justy didn't really inform us of the intensity of this adventure. So as we're penguin huddled up, just trying to stay warm, Justin's down there doing who knows what, searching for this waterfall tier, making sure we can rappel it. Fast forward like an hour, it's probably now 4 o'clock, and he just comes climbing up the mountain and he says, yep, we're good to go. So this is our first chance at rappelling. First up is Alima. She's screaming the entire way down. She gets to the bottom and we just hear, made it. Next up is Mia, same story, and then next up is myself. I go down, and that's what you're about to see in this next scene. All right, I'm at the top of the mountain with the crew right now. Probably about 180 feet, Justin says, above the waterfall, which is down yonder in the valley below. Mia is on the rappel. She's going down to it. Justy's guiding us through it.
Oh yeah.
And I think I'm up next
Rope
after
on
Mia. My turn to belay down to the waterfalls. Here we go. Watch out! Woo! This is gnarly. Holy shit! Wow. All right, so right here, actually my 1R, the camera that I had in my mouth, ends up dying halfway through my belay. But basically, continue that same motion, belaying down a massive cliff face. It takes probably 15 minutes to belay down, and it used the entire length of our rope. Justin said the rope is 60 meters. I believe that's about 180 feet. So 180-foot cliff wall we rappel down, get to the bottom, and now we are committed. We are in the gully, we are in the trench, and we are in the waterfall system above waterfall number 4. This scene you're about to watch is when Justin just arrives down at the bottom to meet all of us and informs us of our next mission, which is to finally start waterfall rappelling. All right, made it to the bottom. We're now at the waterfall bases. That's tier 4. I think we're above tier 3, and now we're gonna rappel down 3 waterfalls, make our way back to the car. Progress is being made. I'm gonna test out the 360 cam on the way down. Hopefully the footage is working out. You! Check it out. Wow. Here we go. Good night, Mike. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. 360 1x2 rolling on my back. I bet that was mental. Me and Alima went down at the same time. Now we're on top of waterfall number 3, and it's a big one. Our next descent is gonna be a little puckering. How you feeling, Liam?
I'm shaking.
I'm shaking too! Mostly because I'm freezing cold, but you know what? A little scared too. Yeah, Mia! Alright, so right here is like the pinnacle of my fun meter. This is where like, I'm actually psyching out of my mind. This is what I thought we were gonna be doing the whole time. I mean, I'm rappelling down this waterfall wall. Alima's over on that side of the waterfall. I'm on this side, and we're just sliding down the thing. Feels like we're a SWAT team. It was badass. But if I could describe to you this mission in one way, I would say that that's the most flawed way to look at it ever, because really, it's like 30 minutes of fun, 2 hours of misery, 30 more minutes of fun, and then 3 hours of misery. There's a lot of sitting and waiting, and it's really, really hard to deal with when you're not prepared and don't have shoes, clothes, a lot of food, a lot of water. We just weren't set up for the situation at hand. Now this next scene, we're about to rappel down our largest waterfall yet by far, and it's tier number 3. Justin hadn't done it yet, but he scoped it to make sure we could tie up. There was an anchor bolt on one of the trees, I believe. We tied up to it, and that's where this scene resumes, and I am first up to rappel down tier number 3, and this is where things actually get kind of scary. It's about 6 o'clock, 6:30 o'clock. You can tell the sun is setting, clouds are changing color, and there's not a lot of daylight left, so I was genuinely getting a little nervous.
What are you gonna do that?
Oh my God! Wow, okay, that's big. Boom. Right here, all hell breaks loose. At least that's what I thought. I'm not sure how well you could see it, but if you rewind the video and watch it back, there was actually a massive knot in the rope as I was heading towards it. The rope didn't unspool cleanly when I went out, or when we threw it off the cliff. So I guess what happens is it gets in a rat's nest, and if you get that rat's nest in your gear, you get stuck. Now again, I have never waterfall rappelled. I'm a total kook, so I had no idea if this was super dangerous or super minor. But all I knew is that I was now tangled in a knot, suspended about 60 feet above the water below, and getting poured on by the waterfall above, freezing cold with board shorts and a rash guard as the sun is setting and it's getting dark. So now my head starts turning into a different space. I really start getting pretty scared, and you can hear the fear in my voice as I'm calling for Justin for help about what to do here. We don't have radios, we don't have anything. I'm just yelling, Justin, there's a knot, what do I do? I'm tied up in this. And what was running through my mind was that I could just bust through the knot and the rope would fall. Again, I had no idea what I was doing. I just thought the freaking knot would just fall away. But anyway, I got sucked into the knot, and what happens next ended up being a lot mellower than I thought it was gonna be, but I was straight thinking 127 days style. I was gonna have to cut the rope and free fall, potentially into the pool below, and I was planning my whole entire escape route. Luckily didn't have to do that, but we had Justin come to the rescue. Here it is. Justin! 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 Look! Yo! It's a big old knot!
It didn't unwind on the way down, and then it caught up and snuck up on you. What do I do? So you're gonna come up a little bit. Hang on, but I'm gonna give you the right kit to do it. Okay? You're gonna grab on this one. Grab on what makes you comfortable.
to spend the night out here. It's getting dark. This is gnarly. Be all right. We got food, water, Dusty. Should be good. Okay. So as you can see, kind of a gnarly situation. It ended up being really mellow. Justin had encountered situations like that thousands of times, but again, when you're new to a sport or new to an activity, especially when it's as an intense level of this, you don't know what's gnarly and what isn't. So what was running through my head was some scary thoughts, and I thought I might be stuck on that waterfall for the night. I know, terrifying. Anyway, he gets the knot undone in under 2 minutes once he reached me. I rappel down to the bottom, and at this point, it's really, really getting hard to see. It's probably 6:45, sun's completely gone by 7, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's really good odds we're gonna have to spend the night in the woods up here on this, you know, second tier of this waterfall. My main logic for that is that I didn't really know if it was safe to be rigging knots that hold your line in pitch blackness. By the way, none of us have our phones, except for Justin, who didn't tell us he had his phone until about this point in the story. Now I keep jumping back into scenes, but I actually stopped recording because I went into straight survival mode and was really focusing on staying warm, keeping the girls warm, and staying calm and collected in a situation like this. And the funny thing is, the story only gets crazier and crazier. So now in straight pitch blackness, fast forward an hour, I'd say everyone's down at the bottom of the waterfall. We're now stuck on tier number 2. This is familiar grounds for Justin. This is the waterfall he had been to before, and it's just as big, if not bigger, than waterfall 3. Now, we're all huddled together like penguins, breathing on each other, keeping each other warm, while Justin ties his knots in a usual spot that he's done before. I'm first to go. I rappel down it, then Mia, then Alima. Continue the process, and finally we reach the Sky Bridge of Doom yet again. Now, this moment of the story was probably one of the most beautiful. We just got to the Sky Bridge of Doom, we rigged up the ropes, and we're suspended now over the forest in pitch blackness. All you can see is the city lights of Honolulu in the distance from the valley, and we're the only people in the world having an experience like this. We're just suspended above the entire jungle floor, laying on a massive, super hefty net, just reminiscing on this insane adventure we just had. So now it's probably like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, I'd say. And we're walking across the Sky Bridge. We get past the Sky Bridge and we get back onto the jungle cliff band that we had to walk straight up earlier at the very start of our adventure. Now we have to get down the cliff band. Problem is, no one has headlamps either. We've got one phone light, Justin's light, to light the way. So what would normally have taken us probably an hour took us probably 2 hours, and we're walking very slowly, very methodically with one phone light shining the path ahead and then shining for the people in back, making our way down the jungle mountain, and finally we reach the forest floor where we walk the mellow 20-minute path back out of the jungle. But it doesn't end there. This is the craziest part. On our way in, there was a massive shipping crate, like one of those big red rectangular crates, that was acted as a bridge over a river. Now, these crates have doors on them. And as we were walking back on this trail, we actually made the joke to each other, what are the odds those doors are closed when we get back? And sure enough, one side of the doors were closed. So after this insanely ridiculous adventure and a mentally exhausting day, we get to this shipping crate, and the doors facing us, the jungle side doors, are open. But the exiting doors that lead to the road where we parked are closed. So we walk into the shipping crate, I'm leading the pack, and I go to see if I can push on them or to see if it's locked. In the process of walking to the end of the shipping crate and pushing on the doors, all of a sudden I hear, "Oh, someone's sleeping in here!" And I just go, holy God, I freak out. The girls scream at the top of their lungs, and Justin's like, "Oh!" And we all turn around and sprint at the fastest we could possibly sprint out the back of the freaking shipping crate. So now we get to the outside of the shipping crate where we came from, and Justin says, "We gotta rappel this thing. That's the only way out of here." He hoists me up first, then he hoists Mia, then he hoists Alima, and he's the last one standing down there on the ground floor with this supposed crazy man sleeping in the shipping crate. Justin rigs up his ropes and begins to start climbing the shipping crate just as the crazy man walks out of his crate and says, "Oh, what are you doing here? Why are you disrespecting me at night?" This guy's like a full-on meth head jungle hillbilly that is screaming at the top of his lungs that we are disrespecting his home, and he felt attacked and like he was getting raided. Now the funniest part is, this is where Justin is most scared the entire day. He's the only one on the forest floor with this crazy guy, and this is probably by far the most life-threatening situation we've been in yet. If the dude had a knife or a gun, it probably would have been pretty bad. He was psycho. And Justin's like, oh, I'm leaving, calm down, I'm leaving, as he's climbing the crate, and he gets on top of the crate with me, Mia, and Alima. So now, it's all four of us on top of this homeless dude's shipping crate, and he's just looking at us, screaming at the top of his lungs, and he's like a caged tiger. He can't get up there, it's way too tall, and he doesn't have a gun or a knife, so he's just a psychopath screaming at us to get off of his house. And trust me, we wanted to get off of his house as soon as possible. All we wanted to do was get back to the car and leave. So we run to the other side of the shipping crate where we now have to rappel down it. If we were to jump off, we'd break our legs. It was just tall enough to be too scary to jump off. Now the guy's beneath us in the shipping crate below, where he's next to the locked doors, and he's just pounding on the doors. Get the hell off my roof, are you disrespecting me at night? I'm gonna knock you out. Screaming at the top of his lungs. All our hearts are racing like crazy. The girls are terrified for their life. Justin's freaking out. I'm freaking out. We all rappel down, and Justin's last to go. And in a scramble, he like rigs his stuff and freaking hits the wall as he's coming down, bangs his knees, gets off it, all undoes his rope, and the guy goes back out the backside of the crate, and we see him across the river just screaming, get out of here. And we wrap up the ropes, run away, and we're finally home free. So after a straight 11 hours, I believe, yeah, we started the hike at 1 p.m. and ended at the car at 11:30 p.m. We finally reach our final destination, the car. Everyone's safe, everyone's mentally exhausted. I wanted to cry. My knee got banged up when I hit the third pool, the waterfall. I was so thankful to be on the ground that I ran. I hit my knee. We were barefoot, our feet were torn to bits, my hand got scraped to shit from the freaking jungle bushes. It was an absolute nightmare. It felt like I went to boot camp and back, and I just could not believe what we had just endured, especially with the mindset I had going into it. You see, my dad's always taught me that if you're gonna do gnarly things, at least just come prepared, which I totally agree with. And in this situation, we just weren't prepared. Everything would have been so much mellower if we had the right equipment, but we literally dressed like we were going on a day hike because, frankly, that's what Justin informed us of. Sorry to call you out, Justy, but it's true. If we could have avoided the cold, if we could have avoided our feet being torn up by wearing shoes, if we could have had a little more food and some safety in case we did have to spend the night, everything would have just been toned back so much, and I would have been so much more calm and collected throughout the whole thing. I think the whole team did a great job at cheering each other up and staying happy and bringing humor to a situation that was actually kind of scary. And we got through it incredibly well, and everyone handled themselves great. And it's an experience that I'll never forget and a story that I'm so happy to share. It truly felt like it was something out of a movie. I can't even believe it's real. But Justy, just so you know, I'll probably never go waterfall rappelling with you ever again. At least for a really long time, or at least until we properly prepare. Now, let's talk about Insta360 and the cameras I used along the way. Very impressed, super psyched. Check it out. First things first, and the main focus of the video, the Insta360 Go 2. See? This little guy. I thought it did great actually. As you guys could tell in the bottom right corner of the screen, I put what camera I was filming it with at which times so that you could see which camera was performing where. I mainly use the Insta360 Go 2 when I was walking and doing a quick audio bite, or when I was getting some quick B-roll of us hiking. I actually didn't bring any mounts with me, although you can mount it to GoPro mounts like the mouth mount or pole mounts. I just didn't have the right attachment, so I kept it in its case, and I actually just filmed a lot of pick-me-ups, and I found it really, really easy to use. It's super small, super portable, and added no extra weight to what I was carrying, and just the ease of access of clicking one button right here and just getting a shot was epic, and I thought the quality turned it out great, and as well as the audio off of it. After using this little camera on this mission, I can absolutely say I can recommend this camera to any and all filmmakers, professional and beginner. Sure, it caters a lot more to beginners and intermediates, but even in a professional's arsenal like mine, I found it very easy to just pick up and use and get pick-me-up shots and tell the story in a better and easier way. All right. Thank you so much for your time, my fellow friends and followers and subscribers. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I wanted to do something a little bit different here. We were testing, of course, the new Insta360 Go 2 camera, but it ended up being a story and a lifelong memory that I'll never forget, and something that was absolutely ridiculous. I feel like I'm not a scaredy cat type of person, and I feel like I've done a lot of pretty gnarly things in my life, but this absolutely goes down in my top 3 list. Per usual, please consider liking the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new here, and be sure to check out Justin's version of this video coming out sometime soon. Go subscribe to his channel, go show him support. He's taken me on a lot of rad adventures, and this one was absolutely the gnarliest yet. Thank you all for your time, and I will see you next Friday.